the heart of a remote national park, Leonard gathered his friends for an adventurous weekend hiking trip. The allure of unspoiled nature beckoned them, promising both beauty and challenge. They entered the woods, excitement mingled with unease. Towering trees loomed overhead, their branches swaying gently in the breeze as if whispering secrets to one another. Aya walked beside Leonard, her eyes scanning the surroundings with caution. An uneasy feeling crept over her like a thick fog. Warning of potential dangers dotted their path, each one more ominous than the last. Despite this, Leonard's enthusiasm was infectious. He moved forward with determination and a desire to uncover hidden wonders. They ventured deeper into the wilderness. Maya recounted stories she had heard from locals about hikers who vanished without a trace over the years. Each tale painted a haunting picture that sent shivers down her spine. Ethan chuckled nervously at her words. He loved to jest, but felt a knot tightening in his stomach at the thought of those eerie legends lurking in the shadows of the forest. Ophi walked alongside them, her passion for nature evident as she pointed out various plants and animals while capturing moments on her camera. Her knowledge grounded her amidst encroaching uncertainty. She found solace in understanding their environment. Dusk began to settle upon them, casting long shadows across their path as they reached their campsite nestled beside a gentle stream. The air was crisp and cool as twilight blanketed the sky in hues of purple and orange. Ophi excitedly pointed out constellations glittering above, while Leonard captured every moment on his camera, each click echoing through the stillness of impending night. With a fire crackling warmly before them and stars twinkling overhead like scattered diamonds, spirits lifted momentarily despite earlier concerns. Laughter filled the air as Ethan made light-hearted jokes to ease tension brewing beneath their surface, yet every so often, Maya caught him glancing toward darkened corners of the woods, as if expecting something dreadful to emerge. A wild beauty surrounding them felt alive. Whispers seemed to weave through leaves while shadows danced among tree trunks under moonlight's gaze. Just imagination, something stirred within those depths beyond flickering flames. They sat together under that vast celestial expanse, friends, bound by adventure yet touched by uneased nature, unfolded its mysteries around them, quietly reminding all that some legends were steeped not only in tales but rooted deep within reality itself. Night enveloped their campsite like a shroud, ringing strange sounds that echoed through the forest. Wigs snapping and distant whispers, unsettling Maya further. Comfort from one another, they decided to tell ghost stories around their campfire, a tradition meant to amuse, but instead fueling anxiety. Ethan embellished tales involving lost hikers and shadowy figures lurking just beyond sightlines. Laughter, mingled with nervous glances, exchanged between friends trying to dismiss growing fears swirling around them like mist rising from the ground. Rustling nearby broke through their laughter, though they dismissed it as wildlife stirring after dusk's arrival. Knees lingered among them like an unwelcome guest refusing to depart fully. Leonard proposed an early morning hike into deeper parts of the forest. The promise of adventure outweighed Maya's hesitation as she reluctantly agreed, despite sensing danger nestled close within silence surrounding them. Dawn's first light, they set off once more but soon realized they'd strayed off marked paths after following what appeared inviting trails winding into shadows cast by towering trees overhead. Tension thickened among them, familiar landmarks faded away, causing Ethan's panic rise when he could no longer recognize where they'd come from. Ophi grew increasingly worried when strange symbols carved into trees drew her attention, symbols she could not identify despite her extensive knowledge about local flora and fauna. Just as despair began creeping in mixed with confusion regarding direction homeward, Maya noticed something watching from afar. A tall figure obscured by foliage remained still yet palpable against shifting layers sunlight poured through. Leaves above. Panic spread among friends like wildfire, igniting fear, buried deep within hearts longing for safety found only back home, or wrapped up warmly amongst loved ones far away from these woods, harboring unknown terrors awaiting discovery too. Sometimes, Leonard insisted on investigating while Ethan urged retreat. Maya stood torn between trepidation coursing through veins urging flight versus curiosity tingling at fingertips beckoning exploration further ahead beyond. Looming darkness lingering ever closer behind them now, Frantic attempts retracing steps led nowhere but deeper into isolation as flickering shadows danced playfully among twisted roots intertwined below feet pounding softly against damp. Earth beneath each hurried stride made that sensation felt electric thrumming along skin exposed against evening chill descending swiftly upon group, huddled tightly fighting fear, gnawing steadily away inside hearts clinging desperately. Unto hope maintaining strength amid uncertainty closing tight around fragile souls now roaming lost forevermore, perhaps seeking answers left unanswered ultimately discovering truths hidden deeply buried underneath surface glimpses long. Forgotten memories whispered softly just out reach waiting patiently, until time came finally reveal themselves entirely, as darkness enveloped the forest. An unsettling quiet settled over the campsite. Sound was the crackling of the campfire, casting flickering shadows that danced across the trees. Aya felt a chill crawl up her spine as she listened to the eerie symphony of night, the rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze, distant twigs snapping underfoot, and whispers swirling around them like unseen phantoms. Ethan attempted to lighten the mood by recounting tales he'd heard from locals about these woods. His voice took on an exaggerated tone as he spoke of those who ventured too far into the wilderness and were never seen again. Despite his bravado, an undeniable tremor betrayed his unease. Ennard laughed along with him, but even he couldn't shake off a sense of foreboding creeping into their conversation. Aya's gaze drifted into the depths of darkness beyond their firelight. Her instincts heightened. It felt as though eyes were watching them from afar. Ophi sat cross-legged nearby, brushing her fingers through wildflowers. She collected earlier little pieces of nature's beauty, serving as fragile reminders of safety amidst looming uncertainty. A sharp rustling broke through the air, a sound that sent all their hearts racing. They exchanged glances filled with unspoken worry, but quickly dismissed it as merely wildlife scuttling about. Yet none could deny the unease lingering beneath that thick canopy of trees. Ennard proposed an early morning hike to explore deeper parts of the forest. Excitement sparked in his eyes at this idea for adventure. Aya hesitated momentarily before conceding with a reluctant nod, compelled by loyalty to her friends, yet sensing something ominous lurking just beyond their perception. They settled down for sleep under starry skies, with laughter fading into whispers and eventually silence. Maya found herself tossing and turning in her sleeping bag. Exhaustion weighed heavily on her eyelids, but sleep eluded her. A night deepened further, shadows lengthened around them like reaching fingers desperate for warmth and light. Swayed branches above, creating ghostly shapes against moonlit trails, a reminder that this peaceful retreat could turn treacherous within moments if they strayed too far or lingered too long without caution. Hours passed while darkness wrapped tightly around them, until slumber claimed its due among weary adventurers nestled close together near embers glowing faintly from remnants of their campfire. At somewhere not far away, just beyond slumber's embrace, a presence stirred restlessly amidst untouched woods, where legends whispered truths known only to those who vanished without trace, in the wake of that unsettling moment. The air thickened with tension as Leonard's determination to investigate pulled at them like an invisible thread. Shadows flitted just out of reach, lurking between the trees, almost teasing their senses. Aya felt a chill creeping along her spine. She grappled with whether it was merely a trick of the light, or if something truly lurked in the darkness. Ennard urged his friends forward, fueled by an adventurous spirit that often led him into risky situations. He felt that understanding this presence might bring clarity to their predicament. Ethan followed reluctantly, his heart racing at every rustle of leaves and crackle of twigs. Each sound intensified his dread. Ophi remained silent yet alert, glancing back occasionally as if sensing a shift in their surroundings. Compelled to protect her friends while intrigued by whatever mystery lay ahead. The carved symbols from earlier lingered in her thoughts. They seemed significant yet untouchable, whispering secrets meant only for those brave enough to venture deeper. Aya hesitated longer than her friends, craved answers while another whispered caution, a warning not to tread further into obscurity. Before she could voice her concerns, they stumbled upon a small clearing where sunlight broke through in patches, illuminating tangled roots and wildflowers flourishing against all odds. And they saw it, the tall figure standing motionless at the edge of the clearing, a silhouette blending seamlessly into the forest backdrop. It was indistinct, yet strikingly present, sending waves of fear coursing through Maya's veins while curiosity gnawed at Leonard's mind like a moth drawn toward flame. Leonard took a cautious step forward despite Ethan's murmurs urging retreat. A figure stood still. It simply watched with an intensity that made breath catch in Maya's throat. Time stretched thin around them, moments felt like hours, and still no one dared break the spell cast by this enigmatic presence. Just as Leonard summoned enough courage to call out, the figure vanished without sound or trace. It melted away like fog under morning sun, leaving behind unease echoing loudly within silence. Ethan whispered hoarsely, in confusion mixed with palpable fear radiating from each friend, asking what had just happened. I had turned toward Sophie, seeking some explanation amidst growing uncertainties, but found wide eyes mirroring her own trepidation, and questions left unspoken hanging heavily on tongues unwillingly silenced by shock. Panic tightened around them again like vines constricting limbs, unable to escape freedom, lost somewhere beneath heavy shadows encroaching ever closer. Now, it became apparent how disoriented they truly were amid twisting trails leading. They're familiar nor safe anymore. Dusk settled once more over treetops, brushing gently against skies painted vivid shades reminiscent of fading memories. Their hearts raced not just from exertion, but also dread looming above, reaching down deep inside, seeking answers. Hidden beneath layers, darkness wrapping tightly around souls yearning to find home once again. Then that horror struck. Ethan noticed he had wandered too far during moments, spent fixated on fleeting shapes darting through foliage nearby. When distraction proved too tempting, frantic searching for familiar faces yielded nothing but emptiness echoing back. Laughter had previously reigned bright among friends united, still fighting fears, rising steadily, threatening to engulf them completely now. Panic erupted among them as realization dawned upon desolation, left behind echoing louder than whispers carried through branches swaying overhead, reflecting uncertainty, drifting slowly down depths unknown, waiting patiently reveal itself. Entirely given time, perhaps waiting far longer than expected, initially believed, they might stay together, bound firmly strong, until end journey reached ahead, promising safety, shelter, love, beyond wilderness paths threading alongside hope. Guiding light shining bright, return home eventually. Idle, the lost hiker. In the heart of a remote national park, Leonard gathered his friends for a weekend hiking trip. A lure of unspoiled nature beckoned them with promises of beauty and adventure. They stepped into the woods, excitement mingled with unease. Towering trees swayed gently overhead, their branches whispering secrets among themselves. Aya walked alongside Leonard, her instincts heightened as she scanned the surroundings. Warning of potential dangers lined their path, each more ominous than the last. Despite this, Leonard's enthusiasm was infectious, drawing them forward with determination to uncover hidden wonders. Entering deeper into the wilderness, Maya recounted chilling tales from locals about hikers who had vanished without a trace over the years. Each story painted a haunting picture that sent shivers down her spine. Ethan chuckled nervously at her words. He loved to joke, but felt unease settle in his stomach at the thought of those eerie legends lurking nearby. Sophie walked beside them, her passion for nature evident as she pointed out various plants and animals while capturing moments on her camera. Her extensive knowledge grounded her amid encroaching uncertainty. She found solace in understanding their environment. Dusk settled upon them, casting long shadows across their path. They reached their campsite nestled beside a gentle stream. The air was crisp and cool as twilight blanketed the sky in hues of purple and orange. Sophie excitedly pointed out constellations glittering above, while Leonard captured every moment on film, the click echoing through the stillness of impending night. With laughter filling the air around their crackling campfire, spirits lifted momentarily despite earlier concerns. Ethan made light-hearted jokes to ease tension brewing beneath the surface, yet now and then, Maya caught him glancing toward darkened corners of the woods, as if expecting something dreadful to emerge. Night enveloped their campsite like a shroud. Strange sounds began to echo through the forest, twigs snapping, and distant whispers, unsettling Maya further. Comfort from one another. They decided to tell ghost stories around the fire, a tradition meant to amuse, but instead fueling anxiety. Ethan embellished tales involving lost hikers and shadowy figures lurking just beyond sightlines. Laughter, mingled with nervous glances, exchanged between friends trying to dismiss growing fears swirling around them like mist rising from damp earth. Rustling broke through their laughter, though dismissed as wildlife stirring after dusk's arrival. An undercurrent of unease lingered among them like an unwelcome guest refusing to depart fully. Leonard proposed an early morning hike into deeper parts of the forest. The promise of adventure outweighed Maya's hesitation as she reluctantly agreed, despite sensing danger nestled close within silence surrounding them. Dawn approached, casting ghostly light through dense canopies above. Maya awoke first, her instincts alerting her that something was amiss in their tranquil surroundings. Called out cheerfully for everyone to rise for their planned adventure into the depths of nature's embrace. Ethan rubbed his eyes, but not before Maya noticed a fleeting shadow flicker across his face, unnoticed by most others. They set off once more under patches of sunlight breaking through leaves overhead, but soon realized they had wandered off path again. Inviting trails twisted into confusion, as familiar landmarks slipped away like grains of sand, each step deeper into uncertainty, igniting nerves fraught with anxiety. Panic bubbled beneath Ethan's bravado. Jokes about lost hikers now echoed ominously in his mind. He tried maintaining a light-hearted demeanor, while fear gnawed at him harder with each minute spent wandering further from safety. Ophi's keen eyes scanned their surroundings, tension hung heavy, when strange symbols carved into trees caught her attention again. Each carving seemed to tell its own story, a warning perhaps, but its meaning remained elusive even within. Her thorough knowledge about local flora and fauna. Pressing onward amid rising apprehension threading amongst them, a rustling noise snapped focus back to reality, where shadows danced among gnarled roots surrounding them. Aya spotted it first. A tall figure obscured by trees stood motionless against darkness closing in around it, a presence both haunting and captivating that gripped her heart tightly. While she caught Leonard's eye, his expression held curiosity battling dread. Him simultaneously. Decision loomed before them. Leonard insisted on investigating this mysterious presence, while Ethan urged retreat amid growing panic spiraling around him like storm clouds gathering strength overhead. Torn between fear urging flight versus curiosity beckoning exploration ahead, where danger lurked unseen. Frantic attempts retracing steps led nowhere but deeper into isolation, as flickering shadows danced playfully among twisted roots. Feet pounding softly against damp earth beneath hurried stride, that sensation felt electric thrumming along skin exposed against chill descending swiftly upon group, huddled tightly fighting fear, gnawing steadily away inside hearts. Clinging desperately onto hope, maintaining strength amidst uncertainty closing tight around fragile souls, now roaming lost forevermore, perhaps seeking answers left unanswered, ultimately discovering truths hidden deeply buried underneath. Surface glimpses, long-forgotten memories, whispered softly just outreach, waiting patiently, until time came finally reveal themselves entirely. Anxiety escalated when Ethan suddenly vanished during what seemed an innocent moment near some. Distraction turned silence, echoing painfully throughout fallen leaves, carpeting ground beneath anxious feet, searching desperately for signs or hints beckoning return homeward. But those signs led nowhere now, as Leonard launched himself forward, pursuing Ethan amidst chaos, flooding thoughts racing wildly within him. The mysterious figure appeared directly before him, summoned forth from nightmares never fully understood until faced head-on. Yet just as he reached out, hoping grasp clarity, the figure dissipated before his very eyes, leaving only haunting shadows behind, meant instilling doubt deep within souls, yearning understanding this darkened tale, unfolding endlessly around them. Realization struck hard. Sinister played silently amongst these woods, where every step taken echoed louder than whispers carried upon wind, weaving through branches trembling above heads bowed low, tracing paths spiraling inward without escape. Determinedly resolved to find friends lest time slipped away altogether, but disorientation took hold fast amid growing shadows closing in around narrow margins, barely holding onto hope, guiding footsteps along uncertain terrain stretching beyond knowing boundaries, safely embraced once upon time. The chilling truth settled heavily over her spirit. Nature harbored secrets, woven intricately among leaf and bark tales, whispered softly revealed beneath layers peeled back. under moonlit gaze revealing truths too dreadful, often buried deep, waiting patiently for unsuspecting wanderers seeking peace, yet discovering echoes resonating faintly, warning against straying too close beyond borders defined solely by caution. Advised long ago,